Hi, hello, it's me, Tiana, back at it again for another video, and today we are talking about Gabbie Hanna. So I know like everybody and their grandma did a video talking about this Gabbie Hanna saga. Like, I'm probably the last person to do it, but I wanted to wait until the dust settled so that I can just make one video, because y'all know my style, one video and then that's it. However, this is my second video about Gabbie Hanna, but it's been months, so one video and that's it, and that's what we doing. So as you can tell by the title, you might be a little bit confused. Gabbie Hanna, it was right. What are you talking about, right? So I am talking about a very specific thing that she's talking about, okay? I know that there is a lot going on that I'm not going to address and I'm not going to talk about, because some of the people involved in Gabbie's shenanigans have asked not to be included in any more videos about the topics that she brought up, and I will respect their right to not be included in that. And also, it's just so much information and so many like moving parts in a lot of these stories that I just don't feel like I can give the story the justice and nuance that it deserves. So yeah, I'm not going to be addressing any of that. But however, I do want to talk about one thing in one video that I think that Gabbie was right about, and it's a conversation that I've actually been wanting to have for a while, and Gabbie kind of brought it to life, or brought it to light, I should say. So I'm using her as sort of a jump off point to talk about this. So if you don't know who Gabbie Hanna is, good for you. But she is a creator on YouTube. She started on Vine, and she transitioned to YouTube. She then sort of pivoted to like making music, but more recently she's mostly just known for like being in different sort of dramas. She's consistently been in some sort of drama for, I would say, the better part of the last 3 years. Some stuff that was her fault, some stuff I feel wasn't her fault, but once the internet creates a narrative about you, that is your story. If you want to know more about my opinion specifically about these internet narratives, you can watch my Nicki Minaj video. Anyways, she recently decided to do a series. Actually, I don't know if it was all that recently. I think she had like announced that she was going to be doing a series months ago, but I don't follow her or anything, so I only saw it once the first video had posted, when my sister sent me the video. So she made a video. She's making a series, or she had plans to make a series in which she addressed all of her dramas from her career on the internet, and sort of like give her side of the story, or give her perspective on what was going on within all of these situations, how she felt when she was going through it, how she felt like she was wronged, and sort of take some accountability for the way she made missteps or whatever. So obviously this opened up a bunch of can of worms, because when you start talking about things that happened years and years ago that people maybe have forgotten about or like had moved on from, and you try to tell your side, then people want to jump out and tell their side as well. So I think because of all of these people who came out and wanted to say their perspective or how they felt about what Gabbie was saying, made their own content in their own videos, Gabbie kind of stopped the series. She posted I think 9 videos, and she hasn't posted anything since July 1st, I want to say. And I just wanted to talk about one specific thing that she spoke about in one of her videos, and in the video I'm referring to is her beef with the drama channels. So Gabbie made a video in which she addressed a specific situation, which again I won't go into. However, in that video she talks a lot about how she felt like the drama channels treated her unfairly, and this is not a criticism that I've heard of like from her about drama channels, or about other creators about drama channels specifically. Gabbie feels like she has been personally targeted by these drama channels, that they sensationalize and sort of nitpick and hyperfixate on her, so that for clicks and engagement, and use her name and likeness to sort of profit off of, without having any sort of empathy for the negative repercussions she faces from them running these stories about her. She also feels like a lot of the time they are exaggerating or leaving out context, or that they harp on the mistake but never address when she apologizes, or when she like tries to make amends in the situations when she feels she is wrong. The T channels on the other side feel like they are doing a, public good, that they are trying to hold these creators accountable, that, previous to the rise of T channels, people were online kind of doing whatever with no sort of like accountability, or with no sort of place where people could get like all the information on what was happening or all the facts around the situation, and they feel as though they are like unbiased reporters who are just holding these people accountable and putting this information in one place so that people can look at it and make their own opinions. And in that creators who hate T channels are people who are messy, or people who are have like a lot of keep mess going, or are like sneaky, or have stuff going on that they don't want these channels to report, and that's the only real reason why you wouldn't like these sort of channels, right? And I am here to give my unpopular opinion. I actually don't know if this opinion is all that unpopular, but I feel like the thing that we need to understand about T channels is that T channels, these people who are like running these channels, are creators in the same way that like Gabbie Hanna or David Dobrik is a creator, and they're making their living off of making videos about these other people, which means that they are withheld by the same standards that these other YouTubers and creators are held by. And what I mean by that is they have to get their clicks to get their money just the way a Gabbie Hanna does, which means that they have to use clickbait, and they have to sensationalize the content of their videos, and they have to work within the algorithm, and they have to know their audience, and they have to work within this system of YouTube to make sure that they're bringing enough money home at the end of the month to pay their bills. And I feel like a lot of people sort of ignore that aspect of the T channels because they like the mess, and that's perfectly fine, right? I like the mess too. I won't sit here and act like I've never watched the T channel. I won't sit here and act like I don't sometimes engage in gossip and stuff like that, right? I won't pretend like I'm above it or better than it. However, what I won't pretend what I also won't pretend is that what I'm doing on my channel is unbiased journalism, right? I'm talking about what I'm watching from my perspective. I can only give you my opinion because the only head I'm in is in my own, right? And I feel like a lot of channels try to pretend that they have like all of they're completely unbiased, and they're just giving the facts, and they're just giving the information. However, I've seen these channels that I watch very much editorialize and very much give their opinions on these situations, and very much sort of frame some of these situations that happen online in a way that is biased. And like, you can say that all people have biases or whatever, but I just feel like you can't say that like you're just reporting the facts if you're also giving your opinion, if you're also coloring it, and you're cherry picking what information to post and what information to not post, right? And then also the thing that you have to understand, because these channels are monetized in the same way, and they have to do what they have to do, YouTube incentivizes posting, consistently and posting quickly. So that means that you don't have time always to do your full, investigation to make sure you have all the facts and you have all the information in the situation before you need to have a video up about it, right? A lot of these channels care about being the first person to break news, to be the first person to talk about a situation. So in order to be the first person, you have to have that information out and ready to go quickly, which means that you don't always have time to check your sources, that you don't always have time to make sure all your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed, right? And YouTube also incentivizes harassment, because people are only going to watch the content that they want to watch, right? So if you're talking about creators that nobody cares about, you're not going to get clicks on that video, which means that we're down to about 25 creators on the platform that people care enough about to click videos about. So you have to make 65 videos in a row about one creator, because that's the only creator people want to talk about at the moment. That's the only creator that is monetizable at the moment. So it turns into you harassing people, or I won't say harassing, right? Because I feel like maybe that might be too strong of a word, but it turns into you having to post a video about the same like person over and over again, which also turns into you having to find things to say about these people, and also to use their faces in your thumbnail with like sensationalized titles so that people click in. Like you could put, you know, this creator, you know, kick the puppy, so that people will click the video and be like, oh my god, this person kicked the puppy, and then inside the video it's just, you know, it's a video of them like very gently pushing their puppy out the way, and then you have to frame it as though it's like, oh my god, puppy kicker. And that's how people have to make their money. Like the issue is that people are saying, these T channels are saying that they are holding creators accountable for their wrongdoings, but who is holding these T channels accountable for their wrongdoings? I've constantly seen different YouTubers be completely unethical in the way that they cover certain stories, and the way that they cover certain creators. And like, to be honest, Gabbie is wrong in a lot of ways, but she is not wrong about the way that she has been harassed online. Like, you can sit here and act like one person making one video about Gabbie is not harassment, right? But when a person is making a video about Gabbie that is unnecessarily negative, right, where you're nitpicking or you're making like accusations or doing stuff like sensationalizing things that she has done to make her look out to be like a bad person or a crazy person, right? You get a lot of views and clicks from making that video. It encourages other people to do the same thing. So that's how we end up with a meme of like bullying Gabbie. Like, literally, I've seen creators who have never interacted with Gabbie, who don't even really be in mess like that, making jokes about hating Gabbie Hanna. And it's like, you don't know her in real life. You're going off of like internet jokes, but this is a real person who is on the other side of this, who has to deal with like coming on the internet and seeing that everybody hates them all the time. You maybe feel like Gabbie deserves to feel like everybody hates her, but I just feel like you can't say that you're trying to hold people accountable, and when we see people try to do better and we see people try to make better choices, that they're constantly berated and harassed. Like, and again, you might not feel like Gabbie is one of those people who's tried to make better choices, and that's your prerogative. But if we're not going to give people space to grow, if we're not going to give people space to change, if we're going to continuously harass and like harm people who make mistakes or do things wrong, or just like people we don't like, we can't call that holding them accountable. We can't act like we're trying to make people better people, because what you're doing is just being mean. And like, if your goal is to be a mean person, then be a mean person, but don't call it like accountability. Don't act like you're trying to better Gabbie or make her make better choices or be a better person on the internet. Like, you're not. You're having fun harassing her, and you're monetizing the hatred for her online so that you can, you know, have like nice things. Like, and let's call it what it is. Let's be honest about what we're doing online, okay? Let's not pretend that everybody who is making these videos about Gabbie are doing it from a place of genuine care or genuine desire to see her be a better person. A lot of people are doing these videos about Gabbie because they're monetizable. And a lot of these people are contributing to her feelings of alienation and her feelings of people like harassing her, and the culture around people not being able to be human online. Like, people talk a lot about cancel culture, and again, cancel culture is fake. You give anybody enough time and people will forget what you did and move on and act like they don't even care that you did whatever it is you did, no matter how bad it was. But there is a culture of sort of, if I don't like this thing, it should not exist, and trying to bully people into liking the things that you like and caring about the things that you care about, and only allowing one sort of like idea to exist. There's no nuance anymore. There's no space in between. This thing is good and this thing is bad. It's either good and it's bad, and I decide what the group decides what's good. And if you don't like what the group decides, then not only is the thing that you're championing bad, but you're a bad person for liking it. And it's just not realistic, and it's just not, there's no nuance, and I just don't like that. But I don't know. My thing that I don't want nobody to come from this video and think I'm defending Gabbie, because I don't really care. I don't care that deep about the girl. I just feel like people are being extremely hypocritical online when they have these conversations about cancel culture, and they have these conversations about accountability culture and trying to hold people accountable for their actions, because that's not what you're doing. You find a socially acceptable way to bully people you don't like, and we can just be honest about that. Like, we can just be honest about that. And I can also give you a list of people I think we should be bullying. Because I won't sit here and pretend like I like everybody on the internet, and I won't sit here and pretend like I'm always nice, or I'm always thinking about like the consequences to my actions, or the way my choices affect other people. But like, we should be, most of the time, like, we should be thinking how much harm we are putting out into the world, and trying to mitigate how much harm we're putting out into the world, instead of just moving in a space of telling yourself that you're doing good, and without any sort of critical thinking on what actually it is that you're doing. And that's it, and that's all, babes. It's my hair. I did the little wolf cut from TikTok. I'm online too much, and I can't decide if I like my hair or I don't like my hair. I think I like it, but it's just some weird, like, this piece is a little bit too long, and like this piece is a little bit too long. But like, I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments. That is it. That is all. I'll see you in the next one.